Hi, and welcome to Season 2 of The Buzz here from Abington High School and from the Abington Cam Studios in Abington High School. My name is Shawn Reilly. I'm your host for the 2022-23 season, all about Abington Green Wave sports here at Abington High School. This show is intended to bring you up to date with what's going on out on the sports fields, in the gymnasiums, and all around Abington High School, all the great things that our student athletes, our coaches, our community does, the excitement that builds in the community throughout the fall, winter, and spring seasons. Today, we're here to talk about, obviously, the fall season that just got started, and it's my pleasure to bring along with me today our athletic director, Peter Serino. Peter, welcome aboard.
Great, thanks for having us, Shawn. Thank you to you and to Abington Cam for bringing us back for another season to continue to highlight the great things our student athletes are doing here at Abington High School.
Yeah, we made the cut, and they gave us another season to enjoy, this opportunity to kind of just talk a lot about what's going on with the Green Wave Pride. And the fall season's underway. A lot of activity out there. We got a lot of teams, both in the gymnasium, out on all the fields. What can you tell us about how things started out?
Yeah, it's great. We have about 250 students participating in athletics, which is close to half of our student population, which is just really a great thing to see. And like you said, they're everywhere over campus. To anybody who comes up and stops by, we have teams inside, out on the turf fields, up at the track, down behind the Frollo. It's just great to see the activity really returning to campus and everybody being excited to participate. It's
been really good too, and we have a couple of newer sports that are really building up their popularity. Like volleyball has been a fantastic sport. It's an exciting sport to watch, and they've had a couple of wins already early in their season.
Yeah, absolutely. The volleyball team, it's very exciting this year. This is really the second core group that's moved through the program. It's a senior-laden team. There's only 3 underclassmen. And this is the group that really elevated our program. We've qualified for the tournament. We were a newer program 6 or 7 years ago. There was a core group that moved through that started it. And this group of seniors, to their credit, have really elevated the program to become very competitive. And it's also very popular in the school, where we have 3 levels of girls participating: freshman, JV, and varsity. And it's great to see. They've had some big wins this year and some competitive matches against some of the top teams, and excited to see where the season goes.
Yeah, it's a fun sport to watch, and Abington Cam brings you all of those games so you can watch them at home, or you can always stop by and check out the schedule and come to one of the games at the gym. Then out on the turf fields, out on the grass fields, we've got soccer teams, we've got golf teams, we've got cross country working out there. A lot of good things and a lot of accomplishments, both personal and team-wise.
Yeah, it's early in the season for most of our team sports, but golf is almost or more than halfway through their season at this point. Yeah. With the daylight diminishing at the end, they finish about mid-October. So to see where they are at this point is really exciting. They had a little bit of a rough start, but since then they've really hit their stride, and they've rattled off 4 or 5 wins in a row, which is good to see.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to some of the guys: Jake Quinn, Jonathan Halpin, Hunter Grafton, Zach Buchagros, Joe Vaness, Evan St. Martin. I keep reading on the tweets at Abington AD. It's the Twitter handle for our athletic director. These guys are really, I was going to say tearing up the course. So they're not tearing up the course. They're playing very well against other schools and bringing a lot of W's home for the Green Wave.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a core group that's kind of progressed, and they've taken the leap this year. The first couple matches this season, I think they were a little disappointed with their scores. Yeah. But since then, they've really turned it on. Hunter Grafton has been the medalist in most of the matches this year, which is exciting to see for him. He's really worked on his game, and he's really emerged. He's had a great hockey season in the past, and really last year shined on the lacrosse field, and now he's carried that right over into golf. So he's really molded himself into being quite the 3-sport athlete.
And then we've got the cross-country teams, boys and girls cross-country. They do some training up at Reilly Field at the track. They have their courses down through the Mount Vernon Cemetery. Young crew working up through the ranks once again, too, and they got a lot of good leadership. Really good things coming out of them. I know that Max Williamson, who was, an 8th grader last year? Or he's one of the youngest guys in the team, but also one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great young talent on both the boys' side and the girls' side, yeah. Which is good to see. They've had their 3 races in, and they continue to improve every meet, which is exciting. Cross country is one of those where you can tangibly see, oh, I was a minute faster.
Right.
And some of their times, Coach Campbell was sharing with me, on the same course that they ran last year, it was extremely impressive, the improvement that these kids had. And that's a credit to them for, putting the miles in over the summer and coming in ready to go this season.
And I got to give credit to the coaches too, who keep the community updated. Again, I follow it on Twitter, and they do a great job of showing like the personal bests that you just mentioned, how each runner may be making strides of their own, so to speak, and then the team also victories. It's it's a team game, but it's also an individual competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a smaller school, our cross-country numbers are smaller, which makes it a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
The other day we ran against Norwell, and they had about 3 times as many runners. So scoring-wise, it becomes very difficult when they just have so many more kids running. But our coaches and our kids do a great job of understanding the value of personal growth and personal improvement. And, it has led to some team success as well, despite our low numbers, which is really a credit to them. On the girls' side, we have an 8th grader who is helping us. A number of 8th graders are helping fill out our roster so we can field competitive teams. And she has, Vanjie McCleary has been outstanding. Yeah. She's actually won all 3 races that she's participated in. It's really impressive to see what she's doing at such a young age.
Well, that's what I think is really great about high school sports here, especially here at Abington, where you guys emphasize there's something for everyone. You can kind of find your niche. You can something that maybe emphasizes your speed, or maybe your quickness, or your strength. So we get a lot of different types of sports each season that a lot of these student athletes really invest in and take advantage of, and they succeed. It's really fun to watch these kids develop and become better athletes.
Yeah, it's great, and we have a lot of sports that don't exist at the youth level in Abington, for better or worse. Sometimes it'd be nice if we had that youth program for them to get here, but also for a lot of kids, it's a fresh start. It's a new opportunity for them to learn a sport where maybe they didn't love the sport that they had been playing in that season. Somebody maybe didn't love soccer or didn't love football, and now they can go and they can play golf or they can play volleyball. So just to have a new avenue for them is great.
Yeah, and some of these guys and girls are using off-season sports to stay in shape for the sport that they love. Like a lot of them are running cross country because they want to stay in shape for basketball or soccer or things like that, and they grow to love the sport. So they become a 2-sport or a 3-sport athlete.
Yeah, and especially at a school our size, it's extremely important that we have kids playing 2 and 3 sports.
Yeah.
We just don't have the numbers to sustain the offerings that we have if we had kids specializing. And I think our kids across the board will tell you that participating in multiple sports is one of the best experiences that they'll have outside of the classroom at Abington High School. Just the friendships they form and the relationships that they have to be able to compete with their peers and their friends. It's very different when you compete for your high school than for a club team or whatever. So it's great to see that our community continues to value that, where a lot of people are starting to specialize. But at Abington, it's extremely important to have the multi-sport athletes, and our coaches all encourage them to play sports outside of the season. And so it's a great community feel with the coaches and the kids across multiple sports.
And you can't underestimate the value of learning to be a team player on a team, because it gets brought forward into your professional career as you get older. I mean, I've talked to so many other professionals who, when they interview people for jobs, they can almost instantly recognize someone who was a former athlete or a former, played on a team or even played in a group, whether it was the band, a drama show, or a sports team. Learning that through your younger years really pays off later. And talking about other teams and talking about youth developing into high school is the football program. Huge program in Abington. Varsity football right now 0-2 to start the season, but a lot of good things we're seeing there. We're going to kind of, as we see every year, every team kind of starts to gel as you get into games 3, 4, 5. So a couple of big games, away games for Abington coming up, and they're looking for their first victory. I'm sure it's coming down the road because they get some talent out there, led by Izzy Ricketson coming out of the backfield. Fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. They are exciting, and to me, the exciting thing for them is, from week 1 to week 2, there was a lot of growth individually and collectively as a team. Last year's team was very successful, but it was also senior laden. So anytime that you lose a big senior class, the underclassmen have to step up, and it takes time. It's a big jump to go from the sub-varsity level to the varsity level. But in just 1 week alone, we've seen great growth from individuals and as a team, and hopefully that'll continue throughout the season.
And the Green Wave football team is on the road for a couple of weeks now, but mark your calendar for Friday, October 7th at Rockland High School. It's going to be the Green Wave against the Bulldogs at Rockland, just right down the street, right down North Avenue. So make sure you're there for that game. It's an easy 5-minute drive. And then the following week will be the the next home game for the Green Wave, which is Friday, October 14th against the East Bridgewater Vikings. So always a good crowd, especially at home. It's fun. They have the booster bomb. They throw the tennis balls at halftime. They try to give away some money to fans. And the concession stand was packed at the last home game. So a lot of good things going on, and we're looking forward to more of the football season. And then we got the soccer teams that are out there every day, boys varsity JV, girls varsity JV, a lot of talent out there for the Green Wave.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the girls soccer team has had a good start to the season as well. You know, significant improvements from previous years. They had a great game last week against Middleborough. It was really a back and forth, a much bigger school, a successful program in the past, and they fell behind. I think it was a couple goals multiple times, and they came back and tied it 5-5 at the end. It was very exciting to see, and again, a lot of kids stepping into new roles this year. Some familiarity, but it's good to see them growing. Ellie Lindo has been great up kind of in the midfield, controlling things. She's got some experience at the varsity level, along with Reilly Domenico, Caitlin Noble.
Mary Klein's out there. Delaney McCann.
Yep. The Williamson sisters.
Yep.
It's been nice. They've connected on a couple of goals, which is pretty cool to see. Ella's a junior and Ava's a freshman, and they have set each other up a couple times, which is exciting.
It's always good to watch, and we're going to be talking to some members of the boys soccer team in just a few minutes, so we'll get to them. But also, just to wrap up what's going on out there in the fields, we've got cheer is out there working hard. They're getting ready for some of their competitions coming down the road. And then unified soccer is back every Tuesday as a practice out there in the field. So there's something for everyone to take part in.
Yeah, definitely. The cheerleading team has been putting a lot of work in. People see them on the sidelines at the football games, of course, but their competition season really gets going late October and into November. So they put in a ton of hours to prepare for that. Late October, mid to late October is when they have their first competitions, and then their league competition is early November. So they'll really get going down the road. And as you mentioned, the Unified Sports is I think one of the best programs across the board at Abington High School. So as you mentioned, on Tuesday afternoons, they're out there practicing. There's probably 30, 40 kids, and it's just they're out there playing and having fun.
Right.
And we will have games down the road for them as well. So it's like you said, there's something for everyone.
That is an outstanding program. The Unified program, we do it for soccer, we do it for basketball, and it's just great for all of the kids in the school. And then when they have the games against the other towns, it's a lot of fun to watch and to follow.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Wakeland, Coach Casey, and Coach LaPointe deserve a lot of credit for getting the enthusiasm in the school and the kids there. And whether it's a practice or a game, the kids they're out there and they're hooting and hollering and they're having fun. It reminds everyone, the joy that comes from playing sports.
So true. And if you want to follow along and check out the schedules for any of the Abington Green Wave sports, you can go to arbiterlive.com, ARBITER live.com. You can just type in Abington High School and you'll get all of the different sports programs and what the upcoming games are. It's the most reliable source. And again, if you want to follow Athletic Director Pete Serino on Twitter, it's at AbingtonAD. One other thing we want to announce before I let you go is November is the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting. We have a class that ranges many years to a couple that, I was fortunate to be around and witness. The 2009 state championship baseball team. So that group's going in. They had a great run led by Coach Peraxelis, and there were a number of outstanding players on that team. That senior class was really strong across the board, and they capped off their season with a very exciting extra innings state championship win, which was outstanding. And then one of the stars of the team, Steve Peraxelis, Coach Peraxelis' son, is going in as an individual alongside his teammates, who obviously had an outstanding career here at Abington as a pitcher, but also as a shortstop and a hitter, and then went on to the University of Maine and then played professionally, primarily in the Cubs organization, but a few other organizations as well. So it's exciting for me to see those two, a team and an individual go in from the not so recent past.
And you were in the dugout. You were an assistant coach on that team. Let's not take that away from you. I mean, you were part of that success, and I remember being there at that championship game, and it was fantastic. It was unbelievable that batting order, that defense. one of the best baseball teams I've seen come through Abington High School in decades. And they rightfully are going to go into the Hall of Fame on Sunday, November 13th. Tickets will be available. We'll talk about tickets in a minute. Got a couple other people going in. Sharon Donovan Hart from the class of 79. She's a three-sport athlete, field hockey, soccer, basketball. If you were trying to beat Abington in 78, 79, you had to beat Sharon Donovan. And she was just outstanding. If you talk to anyone from that era, they all knew Sharon Donovan's name, and she's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, along with Brian McCormick from the class of 95. Outstanding hockey player, great baseball player, especially as a pitcher, but he broke the Abington High School career scoring record when he was here in 95. Had a real strong team behind him, and took advantage of that and put the puck between the pipes many a times, more than any other Abington High School hockey player had done up through his season there, 1995. And there's one other person getting in.
We certainly can't forget. All of those are very deserving. But we're excited to announce that Shawn Reilly, the host of The Buzz, among many other duties, will also be going into the Hall of Fame this year. Most people, see a lot of what Shawn does, whether it's here on cable, at the football games, or at the fields. But as much as he does that's visible, he does even more that's not visible. Whether it's, something simple like weeding or helping facilitate major projects, whether it was the school building or, going back a little bit further, the Memorial Field project. I personally don't know if there is any individual that has done more for the student athletes of Abington High School. So it's extremely deserving, and we're excited to see him join the other crew. If you're interested in tickets, you can reach out to committee member Eileen Walls at 781-985-6123. Or you can email me at peterserino@abingtonps.org. Or you can call the school and they'll get you in touch with me. If you see Shawn out on the fields, we can all help you out. But we do hope to see a good crowd there on Sunday, November 13th, to celebrate this year's Abington High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's a 1 o'clock ceremony at the auditorium here at Abington High School, and then followed by a reception at the Abington Ale House. We rent out the patio there and have a great reception there for all of the teams, the inductees, their fans and family members. Tickets are $25, and we really encourage you to be there to support, not me, but the rest of the crowd. So we're going to let you go. We're getting a fire alarm set off right now in the studio, which is perfect timing because we're going to take a break, and I'll be back with some members of the Abington High School boys soccer team in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Chris Manova.
And I'm Michael Leary, and we're interns here at Abington Community Access and Media.
Though you don't have to be an intern to get involved.
You can always volunteer.
Here at Abington Cam, we have a state-of-the-art production studio where you can create all the types of podcasts, shows, PSAs, interviews, you name it. It's all up to you. So, what can you do to get involved?
To start off, you can monitor audio levels with our intriguing state-of-the-art audio board.
Or perhaps you'd rather be behind the camera shooting all the action.
Maybe you'd opt in to be in front of the camera and maybe be the star of your own show.
Maybe you'd rather direct the production via the switcher. Ready one, take one.
If you want to learn more, come on down to the studio. We always have room for more.
If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out and come by and see what you can do here at Abington Cam.
All right, welcome back to The Buzz. Again, I want to thank Athletic Director Peter Serino for joining us for the first segment. For our second segment today, for today's show, I'm real happy to bring two members of our boys soccer team, two of the captains, Hajjar and Trevor Grafton. Gentlemen, welcome aboard to The Buzz.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. You guys are having a whale of a season already, early in the season. But Trevor, what's your record now?
We're 5-1 now.
5-1,
Yeah.
an impressive start. You guys are 2 of 9 seniors on this team.
Yes.
What's it like? What do you feel like a little extra responsibility, Zuzu, as a senior and as a senior captain?
100%. So I was also a junior captain last year, so I also had the responsibility of it all. But mentoring all the freshmen that are on varsity now, I think we have 3. It's just a bigger role to role model for them.
Yeah. Do you enjoy being a captain? Was that selected by your teammates or by your coaches?
Yeah, we had a vote at the end of last season.
Right.
And us 2 were voted along with Richard Galvell, who's a junior.
So that's quite a nice honor of your teammates to kind of show the respect that they have for you guys and the leadership. And apparently it's working out well with a 5-1 record. Your sole loss was to Situate, which is a strong team. But let's talk about some of your victories. I mean, just recently, I think you beat Randolph pretty handily.
Yeah.
6-0.
4-1.
4-1. Sorry, my
4-1
notes
against
are wrong.
Randolph.
Yeah, Middleborough was 6-0.
Middleborough 6-0.
And you guys are your center midfielders.
Yes.
Right. So don't get the action. Don't get on the on the score sheet tally an awful lot. But who's putting it in the net for you guys a lot
Trevor.
this year? Trevor's got a couple.
Yeah, he had a hat trick against Randolph.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Congrats. Those don't come very often.
No.
So I'm sure there was a lot of great passes and good setups for you there. And who else is playing very well for the Green Wave?
Yuri
Yeah.
Casimiro. He's a junior at Abington.
Yeah, Casimiro. He actually had the winning goal right against Holbrook.
Yes.
A
last
come from behind
Monday.
victory.
It's insane. We were down 1-0 with like 7 minutes to go. Then Richard scored.
Yep.
And then in stoppage time, Yuri came back and scored and beat the keeper.
Really, I mean, just like with
Powerful shot.
no time on the clock, basically,
Yeah.
he's going to win it for the Green Wave, which is great. Now, you guys got a great new complex out here with the turf field, the two turf game fields out here that you share with the girls soccer team. We were talking before we were on camera that some of the games where you go away, they're on turf. Some of them are on grass. Do you guys prefer to play on either type of surface, or it's obviously a completely different game, right?
Yeah, it's totally different. On turf, it's like less bouncy and all the passes are like crisp.
Yeah.
Nothing, no bounce out of it. It takes the bounce. And then on grass, on good grass, there's no bounces sometimes. But then typically we don't have like great grass up here in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And it's like bouncy and it's not great to play on.
Just
And
like Rockland. And
Rockland's a
Yeah.
grass field,
Yeah.
right?
Frontier Regional last year, the team we lost in the playoffs was a horrible grass field too.
Yeah, and so you get the ball will slow down in
Yep.
longer grass. Do you find that sometimes these opponents like let the grass grow to try to slow the game down, or is it are they not-
Possibly. We played Middleborough. We were supposed to be at their nice stadium, but then football took it over.
Yeah.
So we were at their grass field, and it was pretty long grass, but it wasn't the worst.
Yeah,
Like it was like straight grass too.
but you prefer being home out here on the turf at Glenowitz Way.
100%.
Yeah.
Great, and we like being there to watch the games. A lot of the games I know are videotaped, so we can watch them later. And tell me about your goalkeeper. The keeper, he's a freshman, right?
Yes. Cam Cooper, he's a freshman. He started every single game this year. He got hurt against Randolph this year, but he's back.
Yeah, he's been playing very well. Only like 7 goals let up on us in 6 games.
Really?
Yeah.
And that has a lot. I'm sure Cam himself would say it's a team defense. Your goalie is your last line of defense, so it's always good to have a good goalie. But who's strong on defense for the Green Wave this year?
Andrew Dunlop and Jared Jernigan
Yeah.
are starting center backs. And then David Burns, a freshman who starts some games.
And Colindo too. He's also
Yeah.
a freshman at left back.
Yeah,
He's
so
been big for us this season.
You guys got a pretty cohesive unit, a lot of camaraderie. You guys are really gelled together.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's good with a strong 9-member senior class on your team. I mean, that is huge. We were mentioning earlier in the earlier segment that sometimes a strong senior class is going to lead to success, and then when they graduate, you hope that the sophomores and juniors will step up. So you think that you have an underclassmen group that is really coming along that might be kind of
Yeah.
continue the winning ways?
Yeah.
Yeah, like next year, they're like a couple seniors will be like Yuri, Richard, and Liam, and they are starting on our team. And then they'll have like a more mature like David, Cam, and then Cole.
Right. So every year, everyone gets stronger,
Yeah.
bigger, more
Yeah.
confident,
Yeah, of
and
course.
you guys as captains are leading the way, I'm sure. Who, looking forward in your season schedule, any games you have your eyes on that are really important to you guys? You want to really take it to the opponent?
Yeah, the Rockland game coming up. It's
Rockland.
away. Yeah. And this game's big for us.
Rockland Bulldogs, just like football, just like baseball, it goes across everything. It's soccer you want to be. Have you played them yet?
No, we only played them once this year. We played them home last year on our turf. Now we're on their grass field.
So it's
So.
Tuesday, October 11th
Yes.
is the schedule. Everybody's got to circle that date and get over to Rockland and watch the Green Wave take on the Bulldogs. What do you know about Rockland? Are they a strong team this year? Is it going to be a good game?
Yeah, they beat Middleborough too, just like us. And they lost to Cohasset 5-0, but Cohasset's always a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Offensively, they're very strong.
Yeah.
Defensively, we're not sure as of now.
Great.
Yeah.
How's the speed on your team? Is it average? Is it a little above average this year? I mean, what are your strengths that make you guys a 5-1 team?
Passing the ball like through the midfield and moving around, finding better options all the team.
Yep.
I think we're just like a very smart and like technical team this year, and we're finding it much easier to play with each other.
Is that due to the incredible coaching, or is it just the talent of
the captains?
The captains,
yeah.
there it is, the captains. Huh? We're saying that because the coach is off camera right now, listening to every word they say. But, and we'll be talking to the coach in just a few minutes. So, as a student athlete at Abington High School, tell me what sports means to you as part of your career here at Abington High School.
I think it means a lot because it really, you're there for like 2 hours after school every single day, practicing with your team. It's like who you hang out with after school every single day. It's just everything.
Yeah, I think it's very crucial in like growing bonds and like just like having like a better social life in school.
Right. I mean, there's a bond that will never be broken because you guys are teammates for life now, right?
Yep.
And it's something that you'll learn how to play as a team. We were talking about that earlier. Some of the life lessons you learn about kind of chipping in and playing your role, and that you all succeed together. Some of us have incredible 3-goal games every once in a while, but the team also succeeds when you succeed.
Of course.
So it's great to see. And you guys, I know, keep in touch with some of the other sports teams.
Yes.
In Abington, even on the off season. I know, Zuzu, I see you running around the basketball courts, kind of getting the crowd all riled up, which is we appreciate that. What are the other sports? Do you guys play other sports other than soccer?
I also do play basketball, and I'm trying out lacrosse this year for the first time.
Lacrosse?
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to go. But
How about you, Trevor?
I'm just soccer.
Just a soccer man and a student.
Yep.
Right? Well, that's great to hear. We want to wish you the best the rest of the season, and I'm sure we'll be tuning in, and maybe we can get an update from you later, because with a 5-1 record moving on, and again, October 11th at Rockland, try to be there to support these guys. I want to wish you the best of luck. We're going to take a quick break and then bring Coach Kloss out here and see what his opinion is of his senior leadership, and a few other things we can talk about briefly. But Trevor Grafton, Zuzu Hajjar, two of the leaders for Abington High School's boys soccer team. Best of luck the rest of the season, and thanks for joining the Buzz.
Thank you for having us.
All righty.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
let you go.
All right, we're back with our final segment of The Buzz. This is our first edition for the 2022-23 Abington High School sports season. And it's my pleasure to bring onto the set right now our boys varsity soccer coach, Brian Kloss. Welcome aboard, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. You just we just talked to two of your senior players. Got a great crew a great team, really, but 9 good seniors leading it. You've been very successful this year. You got to have a good feeling about this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the strongest team that I've seen come through, and at least in a long time. But just overall, great group of kids, great group of players. They have something in them that they just want to push themselves and do better each time we're out there.
Now, you have a real interesting history as an assistant coach, a coach, not only here in Abington, but places far away from Abington. Tell me your history of how it all got started and how you got here.
Yeah, so actually, prior to what I told you, the first bit of coaching I did was when I started teaching. I got it back into, I called it my coaches from high school. So I started in Needham as assistant JV coach, Paul Tolino, Don Brock at the Varsity, and Jay Steves. When I came to Abington, I was working under John McGinnis as his JV coach. Took 2 years, moved to Shanghai to teach abroad out there, and was coaching with the middle school girls. And then came back, JV coach under Mike Casely, and then this is my second year as the varsity coach.
So you've been to Needham, to China, Abington.
Yep.
And you're a teacher here at
All
the
of-
Abington Middle School.
I am, yes. I got a 7th and 8th grade social studies.
Great. How's that going?
So far, so good.
Well, this year, the Green Wave, as we tape the show today, you're 5-1.
Yeah.
One loss to Situate.
Yep.
And a couple of big victories, and a lot of people chipping in.
Yeah, I mean, the ball's getting spread around.
Yeah.
A lot of guys getting on the score sheet, and a lot of guys just doing the little things as well. You know, guys who might not get recognized on a score sheet or a mention in the paper, things like that, are doing a lot of the little things right, which allows us to be successful as a team.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times with a lot of sports, it's the guys who scored the goals or made the touchdowns get their name in there, but it's not always like the great defensive plays that perhaps save the game that gets the victory. You know, so, and I think some of the seniors recognize that.
Yeah, and they mentioned our freshman Cole Lindo,
Yeah.
who's been flying up and down as a left back, getting involved in the play. I think for a long time, defensive players get this mentality that they should stay back and be defensive, but we're really pushing this year, just getting involved in the play and being offensive as much as defensively as well. And Cole Lindo's been great at that, putting in crosses, really becoming a real threat on the left wing.
Yep.
Ian Graff has done the same thing on the right. Mateus Quiroz has been in there. Luis Alvarez has jumped in there as well, and seamlessly as well. So,
And you got a freshman keeper.
and a freshman keeper. Yeah, I mean, my biggest headache is at the beginning of the game, prior to the game, the morning of the game, saying, who am I starting?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, everybody's got to get their shot, but that's probably the biggest headache that I have at the moment is trying to figure out who's in there first.
Well, I was kind of impressed when we were talking to Trevor and Zuzu earlier and asked them kind of what some of the keys to the success are, and they immediately said it was good passing, that they're playing as a team, and I think you see that's the success of soccer, is good passing, using each other, passing forward, passing backwards, setting up, spreading out, you know, playing with strategy, and that usually comes from good coaching. So kudos to you and your crew.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we've been really pushing for the last several years, not just myself, but Coach Casely, Mike Casely when he was here as well,
Yep.
is that getting away from just pumping the ball up and chasing after it and that long ball effort,
Right.
and just really holding on to the ball and making sure that, when we have the ball, we've got control. We can dictate the game how we want to and play the game that we like to play.
Well, you've had some different types of wins. A 6-0 shutout against Middleborough, which had to be a thrill for the boys in green. And as we heard,
It was.
Trevor had a hat trick. And then there was a 4-1 victory over Randolph,
Yes.
which is usually a talented team. And a good comeback victory over Holbrook was the last game.
Yeah, it's there've been some games have been, I guess, more goal scoring than other games, but yeah, Trevor had his hat trick against Randolph. Him and Zuzu both had 2 against Middleborough. I think Liam had actually a great header. Liam Murtaugh against Middleborough as well. Yuri Casimiro's pitching in with a few goals himself. Aiden Grafton's got 1 or 2.
That's great. We're seeing goals scored from not only the forwards but the midfielders.
Oh, yeah.
It's the ball's moving around and keeping the other team's defense not knowing where
Yeah.
it's coming from.
We're lucky to have a crew that can attack from pretty much anywhere on the field at this point.
Now, do you prefer your team? Do you prefer to see them playing on turf versus grass?
So, personally, I will take a decent grass field over turf any day, but that's just my knees and ankles speaking. But the turf does allow a bit more consistency and predictability with the ball, and I think they appreciate that a lot more. I mean, with the way that a lot of schools and towns have gone, moving to those artificial turfs, you don't get a lot of grass fields anymore.
Yeah.
So when we do go to a field that's got grass, it takes a little getting used to.
Right.
So.
Yeah, ball slows down. You got to change the tempo sometimes, or
Gotta give it a little extra to get there.
Exactly. So, yeah. Right. Now, we were talking about you have a strong senior crew that's leading the underclassmen. You got some good quality underclassmen that are really carrying their weight. And you were talking to me earlier that this crew, the senior class, really knows how important it is to invest in the youth soccer program to get them ready to step up when their turn comes. And you mentioned that you and some of the guys put together a camp this past summer.
Yeah, so we we're working with a camp with Abington Youth Soccer, and I had some of the younger middle school kids, and Zuzu, Trevor, Aiden Grafton, Liam Murtaugh are all helping to work with me with those kids. And one of the things that we're stressing, or we're trying to stress this year, is, you know, particularly with the seniors, sometimes it gets kind of hard to think beyond their senior year, but they've been good. That, you know, we're working for more than just this year. You know, it's the next year, it's the following year, it's the kids who are coming up as 8th graders playing JV, and really just trying to keep a strong program coming through year and year.
I think it's great that Abington High School, like some other high schools, have taken advantage of the new MIA policy to allow 8th graders to play at the JV level, like we do here in Abington. Let's talk about that, because, you know, JV soccer, JV football, JV anything is not really a demoted level, really. It's a time to really build the strength, the confidence, so that when you get called up to the varsity, you're ready to go, and you've got a good quality JV program going. Yeah, we do, and we're on the same page a lot. So myself, Coach Casely, Coach Andrade, Coach Stark, we're working together in training sessions daily, making sure that we're working on the same aspects of the game, so that when kids come up from JV to varsity, whether it's next year or I'll pull kids up during the year. Right. You could have an injury and need to bring injury, or if they're looking good. If if one of our guys has a great game at JV, provided he's able to come up, I'll pull him up. He'll get some minutes. It's good to be able to get them that taste of the next level, so that they know what they're working for and be better prepared for when the next time comes. And I think you coaches do a great job of kind of building that sense of teamwork, where the seniors, don't look down on the freshmen. The freshmen aren't nervous about the seniors. It is a teamwork. The older guys realize how important the younger guys are. The younger guys respect the older guys, and they work together. They protect each other, and they trust in each other. I mean, you've got, as we mentioned before, freshmen passing to seniors and juniors scoring. That's the way it should be. Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about the team is they don't really look at each other as the freshman or the sophomore or anything like that. They're very much say, this is my teammate, this is my left back, this is my right midfielder, this is my striker. We're working together because at the end of the day, we all have the same goal. Right. Is to score goals. That's right. To win, win, win. And they talked, and I want to ask you the same question. Is there a game down looking on your schedule that you're really looking forward to, a good challenge or someone you really want to take it to it? I mean, you look at Norwell, Cohasset, those are fantastic programs. Yeah. And to really test where you stand, I think you got to look to those games. Right. You always want to play the best teams. I think for these guys, Rockland is always going to be the one that they take a look at the schedule, right? Circle that on the calendar. They know those kids over there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of the kids play together during the summer from Rockland, from Rockland and Abington, whether it's played on the same soccer teams, go to the same church, whatever it is. Right. They tend to know each other pretty well. So bragging rights for a few months. Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, towns like Norwell and soccer have for a long time, even when I was in high school, they were the dominant soccer programs. And it's just a factory. Yeah, it's a great program. But it's good to play against the better teams because it just makes you better. And I think, and if you do pull out that victory, you get even more elevated confidence level that just carries forward, and helps the younger kids too that we can do this. Absolutely, and the momentum's huge. Tell me about your assistant coaches. Who's working with you? You mentioned them earlier. But yeah, so we've got Will Casely, who's been working with me for the last 2 years. This is his second year as the JV coach. Mm-hmm. Coach Andrade is second year as well, and Coach Stark is his first year joining with us. And they've been great. I mean, it's great to have people who are passionate about the game, have knowledge about the game. Yeah. So that when we're either in training sessions or during a match, we can kind of say, all right, what are we seeing? What adjustments do we need to make? What can we work on better in training? Right. Getting the eyes and the passion for the game. It's a great addition to have. I know Coach Stock personally, and if there's, I don't know if there's anyone who's more of a New England Revolution fan than Coach Stock. He's a huge soccer fan, and I really, being involved with Abington Greenway Sports, it's really great how the different teams try to support each other when they have the opportunity. Whether it's the boys cheering on the girls, and I know there's a difficulty where usually when the boys team is home, the girls team's away, and vice versa. But every once in a while, there's a gap in the schedule, and you get to go to each other's games. or we see the soccer team down at the football games.
Yeah.
And the football players are cheering on the cross-country teams. It's a real nice kind of vibe here at Abington High School.
Yeah, I agree. It's great to see all the teams working together, supporting each other. A lot of times when we get off the field, either after a match or after training, girls volleyball we playing, all of a sudden you got 30 soccer guys coming into the gym screaming, and it kind of elevates the the crowd a bit and the game a bit, and I think they really appreciate it. We've had the football guys coming down cheering for us. I know that gets them going.
Right. What goes around comes around.
Yeah, exactly.
They all pay back the favor. Everyone appreciates some fans in the stands.
Exactly.
So
it turns it into a great atmosphere to play in.
It really is, and I want to congratulate you on what you've built up with this crew that you've got working here today. This team, 5-1 thus far, with many more games to go. Again, October 11th, I'm told you got a circle for the Rockland game, but go to arbiterlive.com if you want to look up any of the Green Wave sports schedules. You can just pick the volleyball, soccer, football, whatever you need. That's the updated way to go. But if you're driving around Abington High School in an afternoon and you see a soccer game going on, pull over. You'll probably see Coach Claus or Coach Casey on the sidelines for the girls team, and just be there to show them a little support. They appreciate it. And I just want to say on behalf of Greenway Nation, we appreciate everything that you guys are doing on the sidelines.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on The Buzz. We're going to wrap this one up, and then just another few weeks, we'll be back with another edition of the Green Wave, the Buzz at Abington High School, and try to give you an update and maybe have some good things to report from the soccer pitch and from the football field and the volleyball court. My name is Shawn Reilly. I want to thank you guys for all tuning in, and be out there to support Green Wave Sports whenever you have the opportunity. Go Green Wave.